What's going on, guys? So I was scrolling through Facebook and I saw this tier list. I got a comment on it because there's some things I don't agree with. Of course, this is my opinion, so everybody has their own, and you're entitled to it, of course. But I would do things a lot differently. So, all right. So first of all, Chowder. Chowder's actually a really, really good show. I actually did like the voice cast. Um, like, especially looking back on it now, the animation was pretty unique, especially with the whole different types of cutaways and things like that. So I would actually move that to probably at the very least a mid tier. It definitely don't deserve a low tier because it shows a lot better than I guess what this person thought. Um, Flapjack trash, total drama trash. Camp Lazlo, I also think that deserves to be in mid tier. There could be some annoying characters, especially with Raj. Like, oh my god, he's like super annoying. Like I hated him even as a kid. He's even worse now. But the show just has that classic uh Rocco feel, because same guy who created Rocco. So I can't put it low tier. It deserves at least a mid tier. So that's probably what I would do with that. Johnny Test is where it belongs to be. I mean, I don't think it's trash, but I don't think it should be higher than what it is right now. And I don't even know what that show is. Let me try to see. Nah, I don't even know what that is. So that can stay where it's at. All right, so let's see mid tier. I'm assuming that's What's New Scooby Doo. That's kind of hard to say because that's probably one of the best Scooby Doo series there is, but I can't put it top tier. I think it's at where it needs to be. Especially with the theme song, like everyone loves the theme song, and based off of what we've been getting lately with Scooby Doo, this is like way better. But compared to all these other shows, I don't think it's better. So I'm gonna leave it where it's at. Benton, this is the best version of the Benton series or franchise, I should say. In my opinion, because he's actually 10 years old, and it kind of makes sense. The theme song is awesome. So I know a lot of people like him when he was like 17 or something, like Alien Force. I think that's what it was. I watched a little bit of that, but this is the one I was into the most. But that being said, I think it should stay where it is. I don't think it's like really really good. It's solid. It's good, but they're just better action shows on this list. So I'm gonna leave it where it is. Adventure Time. I honestly don't see what's so great about the show. Like, yeah, it came out at a time where Cartoon Network was putting out garbage. So anything halfway decent would stand out you know, like a sore thumb. That's kind of like what I think of Loud House right now on Nickelodeon. Like you get a halfway decent show and people overrate it and they think it's the greatest thing ever. So honestly, I will move this down to the low tier. Honestly, if I have to demote something, low tier, I will put that low tier. My gym partner's a monkey. This one's kind of hard to rate because I know a lot of people hate this show. I remember it kind of liking it and then kind of being annoyed by it. There's kind of some like prejudice in the show, that type of vibes. But I guess that's the point of it because he's Adam's the only human in a school full of animals, and it's just a different perspective than what we're used to seeing. Um, See, I wish there was a trash tier. That way, I can put a couple of these shows in the trash tier. Um, but if I have to demote something, I will probably leave this alone because I do have another show in mind that I'm gonna demote. So I will leave this alone at mid tier. Johnny Bravo, simple premise: some jacked up dude trying to get chicks, always fails. I don't think it's anything special. Now, don't get me wrong; I'm super nostalgic for the show, but I don't think it's that good. It's good. It's looked on. It's looked back on very fondly. Has its fans, including myself. I think I had like a Johnny Bravo toy. I think like Burger King or something like that back in like 2000 or something. I don't remember. That being said, I think it's where it should be. It's definitely not low tier because he's definitely an iconic character. So I will leave him where he is. Uh, Oh, Grandpa, total trash. He deserves to be on a low tier. Totally Spies. Now obviously, I watched the show for eye candy back in the day. What was I, 11, 12 when the show was out? Solid show, had good animations. Don't remember too much about it other than they had this sort of like cave they got missions from. But I don't think it deserves to be on a low tier. I don't think it's looked back upon as fondly as it should. But I'm gonna leave it alone. One thing I'm noticing, I don't see Code Lyoko on this list. Where's Code Lyoko? Every time I think of Maguzi, I don't think of Totally Spies. I think of Code Lyoko. Where's Code Lyoko? So there's just problems with this tier list. There's a lot of shows left out, but I gotta work with what I got. So moving on, Cow and Chicken. I will move this higher. Because this show is just crazy. It's so random. And I'm also putting I Am Weasel in mind because, it just goes hand in hand. So you can't talk about Cow and Chicken without I Am Weasel. Like, come on. Those two theme songs are so iconic. Like, it has a better theme song than almost anything else on this list. Just off those two theme songs alone. So this definitely deserves to be a top tier show. Two Stupid Dogs. I love me some two stupid dogs. Okay, don't get me wrong. I love me some, but a top tier show, I don't know, especially with the run that it has. Now, of course, a few of these shows, didn't have as much of a run as others. But it's not a top tier show. I'm sorry, guys. I mean, the theme song's catchy, pretty simple show. It's iconic, but it does not belong on the top tier. So I'm gonna move it to mid tier. All right, next. Class of 3000. This is a very underrated show. This actually deserves to be where it actually is. I really wish that this show had a longer run. Had a great voice cast. Excellent voice cast. The music was so unique. Every episode had a different type of theme to it. The animation was solid, and I don't know what happened. I don't know if it came out at a bad time, if the show was too expensive. I don't know what it is, but all I know is that I don't know what Andre 3000 is doing ever since the show came out. So I really wish the show would have gotten a longer run. It definitely deserved it. It's probably one of the most unique shows on this list. So I think that it deserves to be where it's at. Regular show, one of my favorite shows of all time. I'm moving this up to the God tier. I don't know how it's not on the God tier. I think out of all of those Renaissance shows that came out during the 2010s, this show deserves to be on the God tier. Speaking of the Renaissance, I know this was a few years late, but where is Steven Universe? I don't know if it's too recent. I don't know if there was a cutoff. I don't know. But I would also put Steven Universe in the God tier. But he's not here, so can't put him in there. Codename Kids Next Door. This show came out at a perfect time, right when I was around that age, 7, 8 years old. Love this show. Great show and a great ending. I really wish we would have gotten the Galactic Kids Next Door, but Cartoon Network turned it down. I really wish we could because, we could have continued on the series and things like that. So it is where it's supposed to be. I can't put it on the God tier because, it's a show about kids and stuff. And I can't bring myself down to that level, especially the older I get. And, me being a kid and, I can relate to it. But now that I'm an adult, I would be an enemy to them. Hell, even as a teenager, I would have been an enemy to them. So it belongs where it is. Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends. I think this is a good show. It's where it's supposed to be. Great cast of characters, memorable soundtrack. Nothing really else to say about this one. It's just a solid show. It belongs where it is. Amazing World of Gumball. I do like this show. I haven't seen it quite enough, but I haven't seen it enough to justify moving it down. So I do think it is where it is. I don't know if they're going to continue it or not, because I know the last episode was kind of, open-ended, kind of crazy. But it's where it's supposed to be. Great show. All right. I don't know what this is. I'm assuming that says like crypto or something. I have no idea what this is. The logo's very like low res. I don't know if that says crypto the superdog or what, but that's going in the trash tier. I don't know. Even if it is crypto the superdog, it does not belong this high on no list. I'm sorry. Whatever this is, it's going down to the low tier. I'm sorry. All right. Now we get to the God tier. I don't have a problem with most of these. Most of these I definitely agree with. Let's see. Courage, classic. Nothing really else to say. Great intro, memorable episodes. We're all scared to death of it as kids. I mean, I really wasn't. Maybe because I've seen so much worse at that point. But great show. Great show. Ed and Eddie, I think I kind of want to move this down one, but the memes alone and the memories I've had with the show is a little bit too strong for me to bringing it down, even though I do think the show is a little bit overrated, just a little bit. There's too many annoying characters to me to go back and really like the show as much as I used to, but I don't have enough justification to move it down. Only because of a couple of annoying characters. I want to do it, but I'm going to leave it alone only because most of this God tier portion is right. Teen Titans, in my opinion, outside of Toonami, it's the greatest Cartoon Network show of all time. Really upset we got a really bad ending. I'm still waiting on that season 6, like, Teen Titans Go premiered. That's why I hate Teen Titans Go so much, because what it came from and what we got. So I'm not gonna spend too much time on it, but yeah, greatest show in Cartoon Network history. Powerpuff Girls, nothing really else to say. Classic show, especially for the female audience. This is definitely something that stood out. The bad guys were all memorable, like Mojo Jojo and the Gang Green Gang, all those guys. Classic, total classic. Belongs exactly where it is. Let's see. Dexter's Laboratory. Dexter's Laboratory, another great show. Not as crazy as the Powerpuff Girls, but still just as memorable. I remember the episode with Dexter's dad. He was going crazy over the corn muffins and things like that. I just remember that episode being totally hilarious. However, I'm going to bring this down to one only because the later half of the series just really dipped in quality. Now, I know that Powerpuff Girls had the same type of issue, but at least we got that Christmas special, with Princess and they're racing to the North Pole. That one was pretty entertaining, so that's why it stays. But Dexter, I just got to bring it down just a little bit, so sorry about that. And now that I'm on the topic, where is the Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy? That should be top tier as well. So I would replace it with that. So I don't know why this was left off the list. Anyway, Justice League, I feel like this is a little unfair. Anytime you bring now I understand Teen Titans already on the list, so it's kind of hard for me to say that when Teen Titans already on the list, but of course the show is good. Like, it's Justice League. It's really hard to mess up Justice League. So that belongs where it is, even though it's hard to... it's just kind of hard to think. Which one is better, Justice League or Justice League Unlimited? You decide. Anyway, Samurai Jack belongs where it is, especially with we got an actual conclusion. That season 5 was excellent. I really loved how gritty and dark it was. Bittersweet ending. I don't want to spoil it, but it was worth the wait. I can say that. And finally, Young Justice. Now, I know a lot of people really like this show. I've seen a couple episodes. I thought it's pretty solid. I put it kind of in the same kind of category as, Justice League. Not quite as good, but not trash either. But God tier, I don't know. It got canceled, for a reason. I know some people say that it wasn't fair, but it doesn't have a lot of episodes. So I'm going to have to move that down. Anyway, that's my list. So a couple changes, couple omissions that weren't even on the list. So there you go, guys. Let me know what you think. Thanks.